Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Aric Fiscus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
Welcome to episode 29 of the Play It By Ear podcast. And we welcome you once again to our corner of the world where we practice, I believe Brady used the word tomfoolery on my birthday greeting. I think that's usually what we do here. Thank you, by the way. If I were to pick anyone whose face I would like to be on, it would be Gene Rayburn's body. And I certainly, that, of course, came from one of our previous posters. But thank you again for that.
No problem. My favorite part of that was like, nice picture, Aric. There were people thought that was an actual photo of you holding one of those sticks. It's like, that's great.
So then people think I have a body of a 75-year-old. Thank you very much.
Well, they couldn't tell. It was all wrapped in polyester. So.
Yeah, exactly. A 75-year-old with a wide polyester lapel. That's very good. Yeah, but again, thank you for that. My last birthday in the 40s. Of course, Brady, you're already there. You've been there for a few months, but
yeah,
Todd, you're still on the other side of all that. But
yeah, I'm creeping up quick.
All right. Housekeeping duties aside, of course, let me say hello to my partners once again. Brady, welcome.
Yeah.
That's a very, very happy wave there. Yeah. Todd?
Aloha.
The Reagan Bush shirt seems to be your shirt of choice in most of these episodes for whatever reason.
I was in here taking a selfie with it using a Snapchat filter that gives you a red, white, and blue American flag beard, and I thought it would look good with this shirt. And then my wife, right before they went into lockdown, quiet time, and so we could record, I was told that I wore this a couple episodes ago. So, yeah.
Oh, well.
Well.
I'm wearing my T-shirt that says adultish, which usually kind of figures into this podcast highly.
Well, I think we're probably more ish than adult. But
oddly enough, I have sported the Reagan Bush shirt. I think, like I said, a couple episodes ago, and oddly enough, though, we don't get political on here. And probably people that know us probably are quite surprised by that. So
I would say we get all of our political conversations out amongst ourselves, I guess.
Yeah. You're welcome, listeners.
Yes. I'm very happy about that. All right. Housekeeping duties on the bottom of the screen there are on audio. You can find us on anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app, and most anywhere you find your podcasts. Speaking of which, I hope all of you enjoyed the playlist that was provided from our last episode in topic number 1, songs that are your favorite that no one knows. And I did put that. It was a YouTube music playlist, but I'm also going to list it out there. Or by the time you hear this, I probably have already done it, but list it out there in Spotify as well, since that's our biggest provider as far as our podcast goes.
That's what I'm waiting for. Spotify playlist.
Yes. Video, YouTube. Search Play It By Ear podcast. Follow our channel and get notifications as to when the video podcast comes out. Social media. Facebook @Play It By Ear podcast. Twitter @Play It By Ear pod 2. And Instagram @Play It By Ear podcast with underscores after all those words. Interact with us through email. The address there is playbyyourpodcast2020 @gmail.com, or leave a voice message. Click on the link, or click the link at your podcast provider. And again, we keep saying it. We haven't had a voice message in a while. Maybe someone will leave us a voice message about songs that they like that no one else knows. I thought that was a thought that would create some conversation, but I believe
Buzz.
so far at the time of our taping here, it seems like only the gummy bears have created buzz. So,
We
buzz,
We-
squirts, whatnot.
it was funny because and I'll never remember the song, but a couple nights ago, Say and I were putting together a hot tub playlist, like something that we could just kind of put on shuffle, and we were looking up some different songs, and I came across a song, and I'm like, why does this song sound so familiar? Why does the name and the band sound so familiar? And I could not remember. I'm like, did we listen to this on the way to Indianapolis? And come to find out, it was one of your songs on the playlist. And again, I say that to say that I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, just so happened it's weird that I never heard of the song. And then, so you mentioned it on the podcast. And then a couple nights later, I see it on my, on Spotify. So I can't think of the name of the song. Yeah, it was.
All right. So we are in order. And again, another thing I love about this software, I can put us in order of our topics. So Brady is there in the number 1 position. I am in the middle. Todd will round us out here today. So Brady, you're number 1.
I'm here in the catbird seat. Meow and chirp. All right. Here at Play by Ear podcast, we like the nightlife. We like to boogie. So this is going to go nostalgic. We grew up in a very unique, but very, what should I say, familiar place to most of you listeners. It's about growing up in small town Brown County and what our nightlife was back in the day. But looking back, it's so atypical because, yes, here in small town America, we had the nightclub scene. That's right, the teenage nightclub scene. And this is basically this is a night in the life of what we did as teenagers. And what did we do to occupy our nights? What did it look like? What was the nightlife and the boogieing like?
I can fairly certainly say that what we did on a typical night as teenagers is not what we wanted to be doing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I just got a great flashback there.
I'll leave you with whatever you want to make of that comment, but
did I? Can I chime in here real quick? Because Aric, you just brought up something, and have we told on any of the podcast episodes? Aric, have I told the Eastern Kentucky story on the podcast yet?
I don't believe you have.
You know what I'm talking about?
Eastern Kentucky University.
Well, no, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't believe that you have told that story, and this is probably the topic in which to tell that story. So
it could be. I'm just not sure whether I should wait and when we talk about some of the activities we did, or I should just go ahead and tell it real quick.
So many activities.
Now, I think it'll fit into the conversation as we go along. So just hold on to that.
But as soon as you said that, like we did not do what we wanted to be doing, I thought instantly of that night.
This has got my interest up, so I'm feeling the pressure to lead this off heavy. So, we were lucky enough where Aric and I, we had a couple friends that was a year older than us, and they got their driver's licenses first. So we started experiencing our freedom for the nightlife and the boogie when we were about 15. And so what did a night out look like to us? So let's start off first by the fine dining. There was one place to go and be seen and do your culinary cuisine intake, and that was the Pizza Hut at Georgetown. So there was usually not a week or a weekend night that went by during the summer, especially, where we did not end up at the hut at some point to be seen and to be eating. Correct?
Correct. Now, again, the lay of the land here in Brown County in 1980, whatever, Pizza Hut was the first high dining that we had in Brown County. Unless you count Gold Star. I don't know if you count Gold Star and all that or not. But,
I was going to throw Gold Star in there because it wasn't the hangout spot that Pizza Hut was, but it was definitely usually a weekly or close to it place to hit. Go ahead, Aric.
Yeah. So back in the day, of course, Mount Orb is the hub of Brown County now when it comes to going places and things and whatnot. But back in the day, it was Georgetown. That, of course, Pizza Hut was the first, like I said, high dining. Yeah, as I
When we
remember,
say high dining, we're not talking about impaired dining. We're talking about
not in our case anyway. Maybe someone, but
yeah.
Early 80s, 81-ish, 82-ish, maybe when Pizza Hut opened. It could have been before that, actually. I don't know, but it was somewhere around in there. So that was, like Brady said, that was the place to be first. Then there were some other places later on, but I'll let you proceed.
So, you would eat at the Hut not only to get your pizza on it, but like I said, to be seen, because there would be the female types from Georgetown and Ripley and Western Brand. The ladies would come in that way. So enjoy a breadstick and check out a chick. That's not very politically correct, but that was our life back then.
Not at all.
And then
why did I just get an Al Bundy flash across my face there? Like, at the Pizza Hut, where you can eat a breadstick and look at a chick.
Yeah. So, and then, on some nights we would hit the Gold Star, or Aric, the two, what we used to call Gold Star. It was the Chili Dump.
Chili Dump. Yes.
We would go to the Chili Dump. That was our moniker for it. So, and then of course, after you ate at the Hut, you would cruise Georgetown, the 2-3 block radius in your cars, and hope once again to be seen. See and be seen.
So I have a theory here, and you can chime in on this theory, Todd. I don't know. You're just a shade younger, so I don't know if that plays into your nightlife when you were that age or not. But what killed cruising in Georgetown? I have a theory.
I think it was the federales cracking down on our loitering and blocking the thoroughfares by slowly driving in squares.
Not my thought. Although they did, I'll give you that. Not my thought. Todd, do you have a guess as to what my theory is?
I don't, but I was going to say, see, I missed that because I don't remember cruising in Georgetown a whole lot. First off, I apologize to any of our Georgetown listeners, but I never got along with people in Georgetown. I never got along with them. I was going to say, though, and this probably could come in later, but one thing that you didn't mention about Pizza Hut was I remember more of an after basketball game gathering place for not only the team, but also friends and fans and families and things like that. And which was odd to have to go to a completely different town after your own, basketball games, but there was just nothing around. But again,
There's a melting pot of culture.
Yeah, I think I remember. I know I remember riding over there, Aric. I would have been hanging out with you guys, so I'm sure I did cruise Georgetown a little bit, but I don't remember it being a cruising mecca like it must have been.
Well, certainly not Hillsboro, but there was a fair amount.
Or even Sardinia back in the day. I mean, back in like my brother's heyday. I mean, Sardinia was a big cruising town.
And
really?
that's an interesting point, because that popped in my mind here. And Brady, I don't know if Mindy was of the age or not, but I'm thinking back to when my brother and sister, like in the mid to late 70s, I remember after Eastern basketball games going to the restaurant in Macon. That is where the first stop is now.
Yeah.
Now, Brady, you're making a face like you don't even remember that.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, there was a restaurant there. I can't recall what it was. I think it was called the Crossroads Restaurant.
Now that name rings a bell.
Well, there was a restaurant on back in Macon there too, on the other side of the railroad tracks.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's a residence now. I actually know the people that live there. Yeah.
Yeah. But that restaurant wasn't there very long. But
no, short-lived restaurant.
There for years. Of course, that was before the 4-lane 32 was there. So
yeah.
The Crossroads was 32 and 62.
Oh man.
So yeah.
But so
what is your theory, Aric?
Yeah, what killed cruising, Aric? Don't leave us hanging.
What killed cruising in Georgetown was that stoplight they put up on the on that curve in the road.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like that weird intersection, but they put a stoplight up there for some reason. I don't know that there was enough traffic there to warrant a stoplight. I think they did it on purpose to kill the cruising.
Do you remember cruising Georgetown on the couple occasions that I was driving the 63 convertible?
Yes.
That I was allowed to take that cruising in Georgetown a couple times.
And I remember you were crapping bricks the whole time you were driving it.
Yes, yeah. Telling on my sister here a little bit. She took the when she was a high schooler, she took the 63 to Wilmington one time when the Bengals were because she had a crush on Chris Collinsworth and was hoping to catch, Chris Collinsworth's attention. I thought that was pretty cool. So we all had our teen crushes. Mine was not Chris Collinsworth, just saying, but
So were the years before I would have been in high school and playing basketball, were Eastern and Georgetown people cool? Was it kosher? Did they get along? Because again, there was no.
It was an uneasy piece. I actually have a friend who shall remain nameless for obvious reasons. Speaking of cruising Georgetown in a convertible, when he was at a stoplight, one of those Georgetown toughs punched him in the face at a stoplight. So,
Toughies.
one of those ruffians and ne'er-do-wells.
I had some friends from Georgetown.
Yeah.
I mean, that were, but again, there was a rivalry there.
Yeah, it was silly high schools. I mean, for Pete's sake, our senior, there was the soccer brawl, the bench clearing brawl at the after we had vanquished them, our side had vanquished them, and there was in the congratulations line, there was some fisticuffs and a Donnybrook.
I'd already been ejected from that game.
I remember that. So,
What'd you do, Fiscus?
What we called it.
Questioning the heritage of another player from Georgetown.
Ah,
Huh?
Well, questioning his mother.
Oh, you went there.
I believe the worst part was having to. It was not getting thrown out of the game. It was having to walk over to my dad, who was the coach, and tell him why I got thrown out. That was worse.
So you're questioning the parentage.
Yeah.
Why didn't we call you Aric the Red after the card that you received?
I don't know. That was a missed opportunity, I believe.
It was.
Not that I ever fancied myself a soccer player. I probably was better off having been thrown out of the game. But
you mentioned that though, like about being friends with. Again, maybe it was just me, but I wasn't friends with anybody from other schools.
Now
I hated everybody from every other school but Eastern.
I
I mean, there were people. There were people that I got along with. A couple of the Ripley basketball players were really cool. Got along with them. I mean, there were players that I played against that there was mutual respect and we always got along and high five and people didn't fist bump much back then. But there was a mutual respect. But I was not friends with anyone from any other schools.
and I have a theory why.
why is that?
Well, the reason why is because he did not have the experience we did. He did not have the Brown County nightclub scene to reach that melting pot of respect.
That is true.
I don't want to do any more teasers, but yes, there was a teen nightclub scene in 1980s Brown County. And if I remember correctly,
And Claremont
County. And yeah, we did venture off into there. But like on a weeknight, I believe it was Wednesday night and maybe Friday night. And people are going to laugh at this. It was at the site of the 68 Club before it became the 68 Club of poor reputation. And yeah. And it was called Chantilly's. It was a teen nightclub. And there was, Aric, do you ever recall a problem there? I do not recall one stink eye violent incident. What was that?
I lost my class ring there, but
oh, you did.
Yeah.
So, I remember that. But yeah, there was Chantilly's there between Georgetown. What?
Somebody from Georgetown probably stole it from you, Aric.
Well, there's a story there that I won't tell in this venue, but I'll tell you later.
But yeah, there was Chantilly's at nightclub, and that was, if I remember right, like I said, Wednesdays and Fridays, because I believe on a Saturday it became an adult, an 18 and up club. And on Monday nights in Ripley, it was Rascals, or as we call it, Rascules. Rascules. And that was on a Monday night where there was tunes spun and dancing to be done and making fun of the people that play pool instead of socialized.
How did you guys find? I can't imagine too many people that when you guys were in high school going around and talking the way that we talk. I can't imagine too many people were impressed. I can't imagine too many people, if you walked by and said, "Hey, you want to go to Rascules?" that they wouldn't have just completely thought, "Yeah, you're not funny," and walked away.
Hence the reason I wasn't doing on a particular night what I wanted to do.
But I'm saying, how did you find somebody 7, 8 years younger than you that completely gets that kind of humor? And you know what I mean? Like, it would have been hard enough to get people your own age to buy into it.
You were drawn to us like the salmon of Capistrano, Todd.
You were an old soul, I guess.
I mean, you see it. I crack every time you say the Flintstones. I lose my stuff and crack up laughing, and nobody else will. I mean, nobody laughs at that. Nobody thinks it's funny, but for whatever reason, we do.
How many listeners do we have? Someone thinks it's funny.
That's true.
Yeah.
And there are more closet people out there that like our humor. You would think.
At Rascules, like I said, we would. There was always a dude that we kind of made fun of, and there was nothing wrong with this guy. But keep in mind, we were pretty progressive. We were not knuckle dragging Neanderthals that went around looking for fights, and we were not, drag racing for the hand of a fair maiden like in 50s movies. But there was a group that always played pool, and we always thought that was rather backward thinking. And because this one dude we always saw had a pool stick in his hand, he will forever be known as Needleman, because he had a pool needle stick in his hand, and I still don't remember his name, but I know him as Needleman.
Yeah, of course. We're saying these comments about these people, and we were much more forward, sitting in the shadows at a table, watching everything happen.
In debating, challenging each other's manhood, because if you didn't ask a girl to dance by the end of the night, there was a certain title bestowed upon you.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that, because I was just getting ready to say that there were no. Do you remember about it would have been late 90s, well, between 95 and 2000, there was a teen dance club opened up in Eastgate. And I can't think of the name of it at all, but that's the only place I ever remember being that way.
Yeah,
you went?
It was intimidating because we became smaller fish in a much bigger pond. Not that we were huge fish, but we were very comfortable in our pond. And when we ventured outside of our pond, the rules got blurry a little bit,
Well, and not to mention the YMCA teen dance.
Oh, which was my favorite. It was my favorite because it was a perfect blending of Brown County Utes and Claremont County Utes. And
not big city Claremont County Utes, country Claremont County Utes.
It was good times.
Like Batavia, Berg area.
Yeah, Batavia
Berg. Yes.
Back when Batavia was not city.
Yeah. I missed out on all that. There was literally nothing to do when I was, shy of your, fairs, your festivals, things throughout the year. There was nothing really just to do on an average night. The cruising thing, which I'll go into my story now, Aric, but we cruised in Hillsboro, and eventually the cruising shifted away from everywhere, and it shifted out of Brown County, out of Highland, and you had to go to Eastgate to cruise, which, like you said, talking about the small fish in the bigger pond. But I remember one time distinctly, myself and Aric was driving, and teammate, good friend of ours, was with us, and we were down at Eastgate somewhere. It seems like it was. Did we end up in the Biggs parking lot, pulled over, talking to someone?
I believe it was, yes.
I think it was the Biggs parking lot, and we get out, and Aric would have been in college, I'm sure, or maybe finishing up college. And so we get to talking to these girls. I don't know how we got the nerve to do it, but I'm thinking it had something to do with the other guy, and I won't mention his name, but he was pretty, he was a little more the type that would just kind of yell out and get some attention. Forward. Yeah, and so we're talking to these girls, and I think there were 3 of them, maybe 2. I don't know if it was 3 girls, 3 guys, but it was maybe 2 girls and the 3 of us, and whatever it was, I believe Aric. For some reason, Aric, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe you were a little older than the girls were, or something like that. I think, so it was kind of like, the other guy and myself. We were trying to get phone numbers from these girls, and we happened to have on our basketball shooting shirts that say Eastern. They said Eastern basketball across the front of them, and so we told these girls. They asked where what school we went to, and we told them Eastern, and to make a long story short, we're pretty sure they thought we met Eastern Kentucky University. They thought we were in college. So at that point, Aric's skills came into play there because he was able to then actually speak like a college student, where me and the other guy were, juniors in high school and had no clue anything about college at all. So we're trying to keep the game up that we are college students, and we weren't very successful. And the reason we know we weren't very successful is because we got phone numbers. So we thought, they bought it. They believed that we were, Eastern Kentucky basketball players. And so we get these numbers, and I believe it seems like, Brady, we went to your house. I remember your basement. Calling these girls, and come to find out they had given us wrong numbers. They had given us numbers to just whoever it was, and so then we realized. Yeah, we realized
Richard's Construction.
we realized that they did not buy our story.
In there someplace.
They did not believe that we were Eastern Kentucky, students, and we felt pretty stupid. But at least they didn't tell us to our face, "Hey, you guys are losers and liars," and laugh at us. So,
they just laughed at you after they left.
And I'm sitting here thinking about it and even recounting this. Here's the amazing part. In the year 2020, take COVID out of it. Let's go back 2 years ago. Would a teen nightclub scene even be able to exist these days?
No.
It would be a liability nightmare.
Well, would teens go to a nightclub, first of all?
That's true.
They are drawn to different things now than
they got the interwebs and TikToking. They don't need nightclubs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So So another last word on that Hillsborough cruising scene, which was huge. I mean, it was very huge for a long while. And then the city. I don't know if you remember this or not, Brady, and Todd, you may. They instituted a no right turn from this hour to that hour, and that was designed to kill the cruising, which it did.
And what goes around comes around, because now the people in charge nostalgically look back at cruising, and now they have family cruise at night, Hillsborough.
Yep.
Yeah. I've seen some pictures. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the last word, I did not enjoy Hillsborough cruising too much. I just felt out of my element. And okay, guys, please look at my eyes, our listeners. This is not an insult, but I always felt like I wasn't like truck and boots enough for the Hillsborough cruising scene. I just wasn't my. I just don't. I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
Hillsborough cruising.
Yeah.
Well, to me, growing up, I mean, Hillsborough always just it wasn't Hillsborough, just the location of it. Always just, even though a 35 minute drive always seemed like just a different. Just didn't go that way much. We didn't go that direction much. I mean,
there certainly was a different vibe. And that's a very good point you make. The vibe in Hillsboro with the cruising was much more countrified, if that's a word.
Insulting way. I'm not.
No.
We're not saying like knuckle dragging, grinning. No, not that.
No.
Just we're a bit more suburban. If that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah, we were kind of in that middle territory. I mean, we ventured into Claremont County and we kind of fit in, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But if we got too far down there, we didn't really fit in, like Todd's story suggests.
Well, I was gonna say if you were Eastern Kentucky basketball stars, you fit in quite nicely.
Yeah, right.
Remember the whole way home, we're like, me and again the other guy are like, man, they bought it, they believed it. Can you believe it? They I can't remember if they were college students or not. I can't remember what the deal was. But
I believe they were. They were early college students.
I think so.
Correctly.
Yeah. Good times.
Yep.
So let us know your memories of cruising in the Brome County nightclub scene. Any of our listeners, any of our earbuds out there that was around for that, we would like to hear your stories. Did you know us back then?
Or did you dine at the Crossroads restaurant after an Eastern basketball game in 1977?
Or did you sup at the chili?
All right. So that's our 20 minutes for that topic. So that brings us
Cruise
to
on
topic.
the next topic.
Yeah, cruise on the good, very good.
Thank you
Nicely
very much.
played. All right, so our second topic, which is mine, and the topic is: would you rather?
Oh, these are all
yeah.
Okay, so I have 250 would you rather questions. Obviously, as Brady said before we started recording, I don't think we'll get through them all, but we will try our best here. So
it's been a while since we've done this.
it has been a while.
Well received too, which is why we're kind of visiting it again.
Yes. All right. So I guess the way this will be set up is I will just give you the would you rather, and then each of you will chime in or just have a small discussion about the would you rather. Is that good?
That's good with me.
All right. So here we go. Would you rather question number one. I get my computer windows in line here.
Numero uno.
All right. Would you rather have telekinesis, which for those who are not schooled, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
Telekinesis.
Okay, why?
Just think about all of the this might sound lazy, but you could just be sitting on your couch. I need to move that stack of wood, and you can just do it. Or you can move yourself. I am going to telekinesis myself to the car and just like float it. Need to move something? Hey, no problem. Oh man, there's a traffic jam. There's a tie up. And you get to move it. I like that. Come here, remote.
Todd?
I'm going with B. Although I think if you could read somebody's mind, you more than likely you would probably be disappointed, insulted, all the above. But I still think it would be
insulted.
Yeah, but I would think it would be a much more valuable tool than being able to just move things with your mind. You know, as far as making money, I think being being successful in life, being successful with a career, anything like that. I think while it would be rough and it would be a slap in the face, knowing what people are thinking about you a lot of the times, it would also give you an upper hand on them.
All right. So would it make you, of course, we're all in the field of education, would it make you the world's greatest teacher because you would know what your students were thinking? Or would you truly be offended at what they're thinking about you?
Lunch attention. Why? You know why.
I'll be honest. I never even thought about it from the angle that I'm of my actual career, I guess, because it's hypothetically speaking. So I was thinking me not being a teacher, you know what I mean? So I
Right.
didn't really answer it coming from that angle, but I see what you're saying. It would be, I don't know. I don't know that I would want it if I were a teacher. If I were a teacher, all things being the same, I don't think I would choose that. But if we're talking hypothetically and I was not a teacher and I was,
If you had telepathy, you wouldn't need to be a teacher. You could make your money other ways.
yeah,
And make much more money.
Yeah.
Well, and that would have been an outstanding power to have. Going back to our previous topic, when we were teenagers, I mean, in elementary school, it would have saved sending those notes. Do you like me? Yes or no? I mean, I guess you would know that already. So
Yeah.
you would
have
send a
girls
note
Move
saying,
along.
have the girls circle or. As
You would,
they,
oh yeah,
Or-
hated that. You would just send a note saying, "You like me,
What we gonna do
Or-
about it?
you don't like me,
or maybe
you're lost."
maybe plant the seed. Just send the note. You like me, and see what they think. Maybe they will. Maybe they
kind of
won't.
weird. What? How'd they know that?
But here's what you put. Yeah, never mind. Go ahead.
I guess it's a sliding scale because when I was younger, I feel having that power would be beneficial. Now, in my old age and being lazier than I used to be, I think having telekinesis would be much more valuable. Like
You
Brady said, where's the remote? There's the remote right in my hand.
Think about how much money I could have won at cornhole tournaments with telekinesis. Everything was going in that
Yeah.
hole.
Well, and I'm pretty sure my dad had telekinesis because he would say, "Man, I would like the channel turned," and it got magically turned without him even getting up. So that was me. I was his.
I was gonna say,
I was
that a
his
red-
mind
Yeah,
bullet.
telekinesis.
I was his mind bullet.
Yeah, back in the old days, when
Yep.
you had to have a mobile remote control.
Well,
All right.
because the clicker, as we all called him back in the day, was about 17 pounds, and
Indeed.
wherever it sat, it sat.
Yes. Okay. Next, would you rather? Here's an interesting question. Would you rather swim in a pool full of Nutella or a pool full of maple syrup? I know what Brady would say. That's why I asked the question, just to see that face.
Well, I can answer this quickly. I'm going to go with Nutella because I would rather have Nutella stuck on my newt than maple syrup. Yeah.
Let me put it this way. Roses are red, violets are purple. I'd swim in Nutella before I'd swim in maple syrup.
True dat.
True that.
Well, here's my simple reason is along the same lines as what Brady's saying. I've probably shared with you guys my issue with I don't like being sticky. I don't like my hands being sticky, my neck being sticky. And I think Nutella would be less sticky than maple syrup.
It would be smoother.
Yeah.
Uh,
What about you, Aric?
Definitely the Nutella. Yeah, not all in for that being sticky thing either. I don't go to the lengths of eating donuts with napkins in my hand, but not the Brady liming level of hate sticky, but I don't like being sticky. All right. Next, would you rather? Would you rather wear the same socks for a month or the same underwear for a week?
oh, that's easy. I'm blessed with non-sweaty feet. I could wear the same pair of socks for a month, and one would be none the wiser until maybe, unless extreme circumstances. So I'm definitely going to go the socks.
Oh man, I
I don't know why I'm laughing. I just feel a wheel turning.
I'm blessed altogether. My wife gets angry because she says I don't stink. I don't. So I could probably pull off both, but just I would have to go with the socks. I mean, yeah. But if I had to, I could pull off either.
Literally.
And I'm like you, Todd. I don't have bad body odor, so I think I could do either. But the socks, I think, would be more doable, I guess.
Yes.
Here's
I would feel more fresh.
When you have that not so fresh feeling.
Here's a question though: do you get to take them on and off, or is it straight? I know that's not neither here nor there, but I mean, like that could make a difference. Like,
Well, you would have to be able to take them out because it didn't say you have to soil yourself in them.
no, I don't mean.
Soil yourself.
So you have to take your socks off to keep from soiling yourself.
Well, no, I'm saying if you were forced to keep your undergarments on constantly and not be able to manipulate them so things could escape,
That's not what I meant, though. I mean, I'm talking about using them like you normally would. They have the same function as they always do, but do you have to, like, can you take them off and turn them around or turn them inside out or like, can you manipulate them in any way? Can you?
Because it doesn't say you can't shower. You just have to use the same underwear and socks.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering, because like you could take them off and let them hang on the old clothesline for a few days.
Okay. Next. Would you rather get a paper cut every time you turn a page or bite your tongue every time you eat?
Oh, gosh.
Hello.
I think I gotta go bite the tongue.
Oh man! If you want to hear some fancy cussing, be around me when I bite my tongue. Actually, not even my tongue. So I will go with bite my tongue as well. But now the inside of my jaw, that makes me angrier than anything else in this world, I think. Because when you bite the inside of your jaw, you've just messed up your entire day or two, the next day or two, because it stays swole. And then you do it over and over again. So, yes, I'm going to, but paper cuts, put it this way. Remember the Jackass movies?
I was just thinking the same thing, man.
Of all of the Jackass scenes, the only one that made me almost vomit was the one where they were doing the paper cuts between their toes and their fingers and across their lips. That's the only one that almost made me throw up. Yeah.
And that is an interesting take as far as when you bite the inside of your jaw. You do tend to do it over and over again because of the swelling. And it is very interesting that the clearance in your mouth when you're chewing is so tight.
Yeah.
That a little swelling inside the jaw causes you to bite that same place over and over again.
I agree. And like I said, you're never ready for it. Think about it. It's one of the few things that happen to you that you're just not prepared for.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I looked ahead to the next question. All right.
Wow.
Next question. Would you rather be gassy on a first date or on your wedding night?
Oh, easy.
Wedding
night.
Yeah, you're stuck with it then. There's no turning back.
You're stuck with it. And in the words of one of our friends, nothing of a carnal nature ever happens on your wedding night.
That'd be holy flatrimony.
I don't know. Todd, I don't know even know if you know that story or not.
I've heard that person saying that before.
Yeah, and that person said that, and my mother was standing behind him when he said it at my wedding. So
nice.
Timing impeccable as always.
Yeah.
But
first date, I mean, man, I don't know. Here's the thing. If you're gassy on your first date, you're going to feel bloated. You're going to feel sick. You're going to hold it in no matter what. To where your wedding night, you're number one is just by the nature of the night, you're probably going to be able to find ways to sneak off and
do your business.
But again,
conduct your commerce.
Even if you have to conduct your commerce in front of your new bride, your blushing bride, I think you're more apt to than a brand new a new date, a new person that you're dating.
I gotta wrap myself out on something. I forgot where I wasn't podcasting. We were coming in from the playground the other day at my job, and my job is to make them stop in the restroom before we go back to class. I said, if anyone has to conduct their commerce, do so now. They all looked at me funny, and I'm like,
now, was Mr. Brewer around when you said that? He probably would have laughed.
Oh, he would have he would have guffawed.
So on that note, now this is, I guess, loosely ties in with that would you rather question. That period of time or that point in your relationship with your significant other, and I know, Todd, you and I probably can commensurate with this. Brady will not, because he doesn't go in this direction with it. It's that period, that point in time where you can be gassy around your significant other and not think a thing about it. And Brady will not go in that way. So
he won't stoop to that level.
He will not.
I will remain mysterious and pristine in my air around.
Yeah, but
and my question is, how can you marry anybody that you cannot do that in front of?
I like to think that you're less comfortable than us, though, Brady. I mean, I don't like to think that. I don't want you to be uncomfortable, but I would be willing to bet that. Think about what we just said. We were just saying that on your first date, you would hold it in and not do it. Well, imagine doing that for years and years and years and years.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, there's tricks. There are parlor tricks. I will not share them, obviously, but
I think our listeners would like. I think our listeners would like to know some tricks, man. You never know who you're going to help out.
No, because I don't. That is part of there's some boundaries I like about myself. When I walk through some place, I want people to smell the nice whiff of my perfume and my colognery. I don't want them to, think about what I had for lunch. But funny thing though, I remember this video on YouTube once where this guy, like, his friends knew it was going to happen, so they were like videotaping it. So when the guy got back from every first date he went on, when he would come in, he would shut the door, and the guy would go off like Gabriel's trumpet. Because he would come to the door and shut it, and it would sound like a foghorn every time the guy was in for the first date. Nervous stomach, and as soon as he came in, it was like the unleashing of that.
All right, next question. Would you rather? And you can fill in the blanks here on this question. Would you rather walk in on your parents or have them walk in on you?
3, fling myself off a balcony.
There is no 3. You must pick one or the other.
Man.
I feel like a near anxiety attack coming on. Like, this makes me so uncomfortable right now. I don't think there's any question that's got to be on this podcast in 28 episodes. It's just like, oh.
I'm going to go ahead and pick an answer. No, I'm not. Oh, man.
You feel like I do. You're just trying to play tough.
Can we pass? Let's see.
No, you cannot pass.
Okay, so
I might pass.
Out. Pass out.
So here, I'm going to get scientifical here.
Scientifical. Can you spell that?
I'm going to get, I can, but I'm going to get, here's what I'm going to say. I'm trying to think now, which choice would end the quickest if the walking in on was done? Was like, if like I walked in on them, would it end quicker than if they walked in on me? Because whichever ends quickest is the one I want.
I hear a Pac-Man dying sound in my mind. That's what I'm.
I like to think I can. I like to think I can turn around and jump out of the room and close the door faster than my parents could turn around and jump out of the room and close the door. So I think there would be less embarrassment if I walked in. I'm going to go ahead and pick it. Hell with it. If I walked in on them.
You read my mind. Next. I'm even hiding from the camera. I'm like,
Aric, you got to pick on this one, man. You made us that uncomfortable. You got to pick.
There is no question with me. I'd rather have them walk in on me.
Really?
Yes. I don't want to see. No.
All right. So, any listeners out there, if you want to chime in on, give your pick. I'm sure that's one you want to jump all over.
All right. Moving on. Would you rather travel the world for free for a year or have $50,000 to spend however you please?
ooh. Travel the world for free.
Is that what you're going to say? I would probably pick that too, and I don't think I'm the traveler that Brady is, but I like to think that would be if it's the Showcase Showdown on Family Feud, or I'm sorry, on Price is Right. I think that the travel around the world for the year is more valuable because I think it would cost you more than $50,000 to travel around the world for a year.
Correct.
See, I'm racking up numbers in my mind. I'm thinking like Australia, New Zealand, Bora Bora, Thailand. I'm thinking all the places that I would love to go that, just getting there's the expense. So yeah, definitely travel the world.
Yep.
Okay. Well, our alarm is going off, but we're gonna do one more here
Oh yeah, it's at least
of a philosophical nature. This one, I mean, we've been grossed out, we've laughed, but now this one makes you think. Would you rather go back to the past and meet your loved ones who passed away, or go to the future and meet your children or grandchildren to be?
I'm going to say I would rather go back to the past and see people that I've lost that I love, because if everything goes right, I will eventually see my children's children. Am I thinking about that right, or is there something I missed there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question does say children or grand. Obviously, you've already met your children. Chances are you will see your grandchildren if there are.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe in my mind, I went farther down the line. I mean, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. I mean,
I didn't think of it that far. I guess you're right. So people that likely I won't be around for.
Yeah.
Like 100, if it was more specific, like 100 years in the future or 100 years in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that were the case, then I would pick 100 years in the future.
Really?
Yeah.
See, 100 years in the past is a safe bet. There's a quantity that like you've heard stories about that grandparent or that, that great aunt that you never met that was quite a character. But in the future, what if one of your like great grandchildren's like Charles Manson?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think what you're saying is the potential for disappointment is greater in the future than
because you do have some working knowledge of what came before you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Although you still may be disappointed in them.
True.
Really.
Yeah.
Could and in a way, could actually be more disappointing because you could find out that what you thought you knew was wrong the whole time.
The mythology was incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually not a very nice person, or got
Deep.
deep.
Do we want one more of a
One more.
funny
One
nature?
more. Yeah,
Leave
sure.
it on a funny
Lighten
note.
it up.
Okay. Would you rather buy all used underwear or all used toothbrushes?
Oh God. I don't know if I could come back from this.
So which is worse, the question about your parents or this one?
Easily the question about my parents.
Easily. Like, yeah, give me that used toothbrush any day.
Okay.
Go ahead, Todd.
This is going to get really gross, but how used are we talking as far as the underwear?
There is no level of usage in the question.
Are we talking about like a half-pound bag of sugar-free gummy bears used, or just like?
Yes, are we talking gummy bear review level used from episode 28,
I mean,
or just a
we
little
Five
sweat?
a day afterwards.
are we talking like it looks like they were wearing those when they swam in the pool of Nutella? Or even maple syrup?
Maple syrup?
Or I'll be honest. I'm not a germaphobe. I was never a germaphobe before. I'm really not a germaphobe now, even with COVID.
Brady's face.
I would probably go with the toothbrushes.
Yeah, I am leaning there myself.
You
I
would
talk
really?
myself into another place, and I could slather with toothpaste, and it would cover up the illusion.
Yeah,
Like,
because you can rinse the toothpaste with hot water. You can rinse the you can cover it with toothpaste. I meant you can rinse the toothbrush with hot water. You can cover it with toothpaste.
Do the same with the underwear.
True.
Yeah,
True.
well, I could wash the used underwear. Like, if they could be put into the washer and dryer. I mean,
Yeah, but are they used to the point? Are they used to the point where the washer would have no effect on them? I mean, like.
Okay, I'll buy theory here. My line of reasoning. With a used toothbrush, you are directly introducing germs into an orifice. With underwear,
man,
you are not directly introducing germs into an orifice. There is some. And now I know what you're saying, Brady.
Okay.
But
exactly.
but BUTT. With the toothbrush, I mean, let's say we all assume we have healthy gums, but I mean, if you have bleeding gums, I mean, you have brushed with a used toothbrush. I mean, there is no situation with the used underwear where hopefully you are not that directly introducing germs and microbes and such into your body.
See, I might have made a mistake. Part of our job is we have to do these trainings about bloodborne pathogens. I took my quiz a couple weeks ago, so I think I read a little bit too much about hepatitis. So it's like, yeah.
Well, I think there's so many, again, questions unanswered, which that's the point of these, I think. I mean, if we had all the answers, we wouldn't, this game wouldn't be near as fun. But for instance, if you have a year, was it a year's worth of underwear? Was there something like that on it?
It just said all. So I guess infinity. So you could infinity use toothbrushes.
So as long as the person that used them did not think of the idea of turning them inside out and wearing them longer that way, you could essentially turn all of them inside out and have damn near brand new underwear to wear for the rest of the
Or
duration.
or it could be said Nutella stained underwear. At which case it would not matter.
True. I guess it depends on the thickness of the underwear material.
Brady's about to we better shut this topic down. Brady's we have a piper down.
I have a feeling the next one could get gross too, Brady. So you better you better prepare.
Right. All right. That was topic number 2. Todd.
All right. Very fun. Very fun topic. So for number 3, we've taken a trip down memory lane, us Brown County folk, and we've answered some tough questions about what we would rather do, including the toughest question I think Brady or I have ever been asked, though at least the most uncomfortable we've ever been in one of these episodes. So we're going to end it with a very lighthearted, almost silly topic, and we will essentially call this the vacation from hell. And there are 3 questions you have to answer that would describe this vacation. And here are the 3 questions. You walk in the room, your hotel room. This is on the bed. So blank is on the bed. Blank is in the sink. And blank is in the refrigerator. So the goal here is we could a couple different ways. We could either play a little good game of gross out, where we try to kind of one-upsmanship as far as how gross we can get. Maybe we want something we has to make us think, a little more deep with our thinking here, or maybe just some odd things that we would find in our motel hell, so to speak.
Or can I chime in here?
Chime away.
And maybe you start here and then move on to other aspects of your vacation from hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, Brady, do you want to start, or do you want me to? Or Aric, one of you guys want to start, or you want me to?
All right.
You got something to start with?
Yeah, I think I got to start with. Let's. I'm going to go the different route, though. I'll step away from gross for a second, just because my gag reflex is still kind of like laughing. But okay, I walk in, and on the bed is a squirrel carcass, and then I go to the sink, and it's filled with pimento cheese, and then in the refrigerator is nothing but pickled pig's feet.
I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
I like pimento cheese, but you kind of just went with grossed out foods there, right?
Yeah, and it's non sequiturs. Squirrel carcass, pimento cheese usually doesn't go together. So I'm like,
I saw where I just happened to see today where Chick-fil-A, some Chick-fil-A's around the country are trying out a new chicken sandwich that has pimento cheese on it. I'm actually kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
So to follow that up, Brady, I had something not too dissimilar. I walk in my motel in hell, and on the bed is a shelled peanut, a single shelled peanut.
The shell of the peanut?
No, a shelled peanut. The actual peanut, yeah.
So the peanut inside the shell on the bed.
The shell's missing. It's just a peanut.
Oh, just the brown slick
no
peanut.
Shell. Just a brown slick peanut. One, not the double barrel, not the 2.
Just one.
In the sink, sawdust.
He can't even talk. This in the
fridge. Liverwurst. Just a
liver is always worst.
Just one of those can shaped. It's like a round unit of liver.
Yeah.
You know, the fun part about this would also be to try to figure out with those three things who's hiding in your room.
The squirrel.
I could almost say my dad.
With mine, I just want to know why the pimento cheese ended up in the sink. You know?
Well, I assume it's throw up.
Throw up.
After he gnawed on the squirrel carcass and then saw the pig's feet.
Vomit.
Vomit. Okay, Aric, hit us with your best shots.
Okay. So, walking in the room on the bed lies the Toxic Avenger.
Hang on, I gotta ask you, is he naked?
How could you tell? His body has been wrecked by radiation. I mean, how could you tell?
Boy, you dug that up out of the. I haven't even thought of the Toxic Avenger in years.
Good trauma.
Did he have his mop?
Yes, absolutely had his mop.
Well, you win so far because I would. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In the sink, there is a single dish, not a regular size dish, like a dish that would sit under a coffee cup. Okay.
A saucer.
A salsa, yes.
Salsa.
Salsa. A salsa with a light, pasty yellow stain on it.
Ah, egg yolk, maybe.
Maybe. In the fridge is a jar of kitty litter.
A jar, like we talking like a
like a Jif glass peanut butter jar.
Like a bottle of Yif with
What I think is funny is how manly we are. That we have no idea jar sizes. What size jar was it? It's like a Jif jar. It's
A Jif jar.
jar.
that's
Not a Skippy jar.
okay.
A Jif jar. A glass.
Whoever there was a choosy mother.
Yes, exactly. And the reason why it's a glass Jif jar, that signifies how long it's been in the fridge.
It's not no plastique.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to figure out what the yellow stain is on the dish. It's either mustard or egg yolk.
Old creamer.
That okay, so that would be a little more pale yellow than egg yolk or mustard, either one.
Yep.
It could be dried deviled egg innards.
Innards. That's what I was thinking. Innards. Or
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. If anybody just listened to this first segment, I don't know if they're going to be fans of ours or it's like these people need help. Like
I kind of like the idea of trying to think of who and just kind of as we go here.
It.
Yeah, the stories behind it, because again, the Toxic Avenger has me thrown for a loop.
Is that a mop in your hand, or is he glad to see you?
Why do I know that there's going to be a Toxic Avenger on our poster for this episode? Man, those movies were cheesy.
And a nice negligee.
All right, Brady, you got to come back around, man. You got to top that.
All right. Okay. I got this. I walk in the door, and there is Danny DeVito in his penguin makeup from Batman. In the sink is glitter glue. And in the refrigerator is Smuckers. Strawberry Smuckers.
It goes with his Jif jar.
in a jar or not in the jar?
In a squeezable tube.
Oh. That hasn't been in there too long.
No, but Danny DeVito in the penguin outfit. But he's eating that raw fish and he's got fish guts running. Yeah, that is.
Is that what he's doing on the bed? Eating raw fish?
Not the Burgess Meredith penguin, but the Danny DeVito penguin. That was way more disturbing.
Yeah, and honestly, I never made that connection, really. I guess a penguin would eat a raw fish.
Yeah.
I never really thought of that either.
Ingenious.
You can listen. We're all like, "Wow, we never thought of that before." That's the awkward silence you hear is us realizing how dumb we were to never ever catch on to.
I was today days old. And I figured out the penguin and Batman was eating raw fish because he's a penguin.
And he's carrying around a rock in his pocket.
What's in the box? Absolutely nothing. You chose the box. All right. So I walk in, and on the bed, I see his and her rhinestone jumpers. No one in them, just laying there, laid out.
As in we're ready to go out on the town in our
Exactly. Yes.
Rhinestone jumpers. This is giving me suspicious mind, Todd.
You said Rhinestone?
Rhinestone. Like a rhinestone cowboy. Just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Especially this on the other. So like a rhinestone cowboy.
Reminds me of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movie, Rhinestone.
That's your favorite Sylvester?
It's actually not my favorite. But it's so cheesy. I love it.
You like it better than Hopper? My mom will shoot.
I got to sing the song. Budweiser, you created a monster, and they call me Drinking Stein. I'm drinking Stein. I'm drinking Stein. For those of you that don't know, that the premise of that movie is Sylvester Stallone is as far from being a singer as you could be, and Dolly Parton turns him into a country music singer, and that's one of the songs he sings is Budweiser, you created a monster.
In other words, he's Florida Georgia line.
I go to the sink. I go to the sink expecting more rhinestones, and I met with 2 plucked manatee whiskers. 2.
Are you sure they belong to a dugong?
Cleanly plucked from the scruff of a manatee.
From the jowls of a manatee. How many whiskers?
I got these whiskers from the jowls of a manatee. And then in the refrigerator,
I think Brent was a human manatee.
I think he was. Yeah. Did you guys see did I send you the picture of Wilford Brimley and Rob Lowe both at 50 years old? Have you seen that picture?
No.
My gosh, I'll send it to you. Wilford Brimley looks 90 when he was 50, and Rob Lowe, of course, looks 30 when he's 50. But it's just amazing the difference in age, or the difference in how they looked.
Brought up on Super 70 Sports. It was a Honus Wagner picture. He was 34. Yeah. He said, "Why does he look like he's 80?" And he said, "My grandpa said, hey, everybody looked like that when they thought they were going to die of diarrhea at any time." 1800s, 1900s. No sunscreen.
Dysentery.
Just like on the Oregon Trail. All right. In the refrigerator, there is a Jello. A Jello.
A Jello.
A Jello mold. The ring style, with fruit in it and cheese sprinkled on top of it.
Ew.
In the other room, I hear Aric. Yeah. That harkens back to one of our previous episodes of Aric, and I think Aric and Brady both. I'm not a fan of the cheese on the Jello. That's just ridiculous. But I don't mind some fruit in my Jello. I don't mind some banana.
Oh no, fruit in Jello is fine.
Okay.
No cheese.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and I've seen salad in the Jello. That's just
Oh, like a big old celery chunk of Jello. Good God, out of that.
I think Sardine Elementary was guilty of that, were they not?
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't like cocktail onions in a Jello salad.
Oh gosh, that reminds me. I thought of you guys a while back. I make shakes in the morning. I make protein shakes in the morning, and I always put some spinach in it because spinach is a thing you can put in your shake and not taste it, so you can kind of get some healthy greens in there and not have to taste them. But every once in a while, it doesn't get blended real well, and you'll be drinking your shake, and a big giant piece of spinach will just stick to the front of your teeth, and you got to scrape it off. And I thought of you guys because I know you guys don't like salads and jellos and things like that. You don't like your salads to mix with other foods.
So when you were picking out, did you kind of go, you know?
No, I just tried to not vomit as I pulled the celery or the spinach off my teeth. Chocolate and spinach don't go real well together when it's.
Neither does chocolate or meatloaf. I rest my case. Did you notice we would kind of it was interesting because Aric said a jet jar and I chose Smuckers in a squeezable tube, and then I said glitter glue and you said rhinestones. Do you think we were casually suggesting stuff to each other?
I don't know because I never really thought of that. I never made that connection. Well, I thought of the peanut butter and jelly connection, obviously, but I never.
Danny DeVito and the Toxic Avenger. But I love Danny DeVito. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. My gosh, one of my favorite shows. So that this is all love for Danny DeVito. It's just I was thinking of his pigment eating messiness, you know.
Aric?
Okay. So, walk in the room. There are no blankets, sheets on the bed, but a lonely, singular soup ladle. Not a plastic soup ladle, a metal soup ladle. Like you would see in Oliver Twist.
Is it
Small plate.
Does it have soup in it?
No, it is clean. Except for one dried up piece of something.
Of something or another in it.
On the outside, not on the inside.
So how is the ladle laying?
It is laying diagonally on the mattress.
Could be anything.
At approximately an 11 to 5 orientation.
You're a psychoanalyst out here. I'm sure that means something.
Well, that changes everything.
That changes everything. It was 10 to 4.
Yeah.
So it was a left-handed ladle layer.
Indeed.
How you like that alliteration? A left-handed ladle layer.
An old ladle lay he who.
Oh, ladle lay he did. All right.
I don't get a good yodeling joke. You don't get to dust off your yodeling jokes very often, do you, Brady?
I do not.
In the fridge.
Get the sink.
Oh, the sink.
Yep.
Well,
maybe his fridge is before his sink.
I was going to say, does it matter in what order?
I guess not.
Okay.
Well, if we're going to crack the case, you never know.
So in the fridge, there is a set of keys from a 1973 Chevrolet Impala. So back in the day where you needed a separate key, the square key for the ignition and the round key to get into the trunk.
Well, that narrows it down.
Yeah.
It does. In the sink.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Ask the question.
Didn't you own an Impala?
My parents owned an Impala.
Your parents owned an Impala, okay. I think my dad had a couple of them as well.
Yeah.
I've got
but they didn't own a soup ladle.
Did not own a metal soup ladle. orientated from 11 to 5. In the sink is a quarter used vat of Brill cream.
Do you know what? This isn't even like the vacation from hell. This is kind of like the. Oh gosh.
Yeah. We quickly went away from hell, and these are just interesting vacations. It's just
Yeah, this is just like, what the heck is going on here?
Well, would it be hellish? I mean, would you stay in such a place that any of these things were found in?
Definitely
I can
not.
live with a toxic Avenger, but a super old thing, man.
Oh my goodness. So a vat, a quarter vat.
A quarter used vat of Brill cream. So 3/4 of the Brill cream is left. So a few dabs did you after you laid out the ladle?
Okay, I'm sorry. Is that what's on the handle of ladle?
Brill
Could
cream
be.
doesn't dry. Brill cream doesn't dry up though, so it can't be the Brill cream.
I had to say all the play it by ear topics. This was very satisfying. I feel like we've really
The psychoanalysis of us. If someone listens to this segment, this topic,
these psychos.
well, let a psychologist listen to this segment, this topic, and then psychoanalyze us. What do you think that person comes up with?
70s nostalgia.
I don't know, because if we had, I don't know if anybody had anything else. I was writing one down in case we got to go another round. I just heard the timer, but I'll go through this quickly. So maybe this will, if we could put, because my next one was I walk in and on the bed I see a raggedy looking stained Alf stuffed animal.
Stained with what? What
I don't
colors
know.
are-
It's matted. It looks like it's got not scurvy. What's the stuff dogs get?
Mange.
Mange.
Berry.
Yeah, so it's just a mangy, nasty, dirty Alf stuffed animal, full size. The full size Alf stuffed animal.
Full size, as in life
Well,
size.
there were maybe it's Alf. Maybe it's the actual Alf.
His Alf is only this big in real life. So is that full size? It's like saying a full size dwarf. It's like,
No, I meant because there were different size of stuffed Alves. Alves. I assume it follows the same rule as Kath. If they never put that joke on the actual Alf show, they missed an opportunity. All right. So in the sink is a sock of teeth.
What kind of teeth? Human teeth?
I'm not about to open and find out, but it's just a sock of teeth.
Teeth.
It's a sock of teeth.
No, the person without the teeth would be a sock of teeth. That's what that person is saying. Who put my teeth in the sock?
And in the refrigerator, one single sauerkraut ball.
How big is said ball?
Well, not as big as it started out being.
Are you saying there's a bite out of it?
No, I'm saying that it's sat in the fridge long enough to where it's shrunken a little bit, and yeah, and I can tell on the plate that there used to be 2 sauerkraut balls, but there's one missing.
So one sauerkraut ball and one remnant of
Yes.
sauerkraut.
But it's a good point you bring up about analyzing this because I've been thinking sauerkraut on several of these, and I never just could put together how I wanted to do it. And I had this written down before you even had your last one finished. But I don't know. I agree with you guys. There's some nostalgia there with the Alf and the Toxic Avenger.
Can I quickly say my next one, and I'll go fast?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's why I had one more written down. So
that was horse hoof clippings.
wait a minute. Clippings or shavings?
Shaving. You know how like when what are they called? A farrier. It's a freshly manicured horse.
Or was it from the hooves of the owls?
So yeah, it's
Alves hooves.
hoof shavings.
That would have been near as exciting in The Godfather if they would have just put hoof shavings on the bed instead of an actual horse head.
That would have been God Uncle. Not quite as scary. But in the sink is that stuff that you put in strawberry pie filling, but there's no strawberries in it.
Oh, a bag of it?
Glaze. Just a bag of
Just
strawberries.
a bag of glaze?
Yeah.
Open or closed?
Busted. It's spilled. It's true.
Glaze bag. Bust.
Or
I love that stuff. That's the
bag. Hi.
I got to be honest with you. That's the best thing we've found in the sink so far.
It might be. And
Brush my teeth with that stuff.
With the used toothbrush.
Wearing used underwear.
And end up in a sock. But which would explain a lot. And in the refrigerator is a can. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say can. Excuse me, a pouch of tender victuals from 1953.
I'm glad you changed it because
53.
What?
There were no pouches in 1953.
Sure.
No.
Okay.
Sure there was.
Sure was. Ask the cat. No, no.
I'm glad you changed it because can would have been totally unbelievable, but pouch, I think that's believable.
Yeah, a pouch of tender victuals.
Not from 1953.
Yeah, it's not open because you open it, it'll go fresh. You know,
I'm gonna just put tender victual pouches.
there you go. If this is on the internet, it is truly a miracle that at 9:41 on a Wednesday night, we could find out when Tender Victuals pouches were first manufactured in America.
Whiskas.
Were they manatee whiskas?
So the question is, here's the question, the overarching question of this whole topic. Did one of the owls eat the cat that was supposed to eat the tender victuals?
That's the thread going. I'm telling you, one spawns the other.
This has been I'll be honest with you, this has been a deeper this has been deeper than I expected to be. I kind of wanted a non-thinking just ending to this podcast episode where we just didn't think and we just got goofy, but I think we went deeper than that. But Brady, I will say there's something suspicious about that because the tender victual pouches were 1970s.
Told you
1970s. So that doesn't mean that you didn't see it though.
Okay, that's true. Tender Victuals. Maybe it was an MRE from one of the Gemini missions or something.
Could be.
All right, fellas. Good, silly fun.
All right. So if you've hung with us this long, God bless you. That's all I can say.
It was a fun ride.
Yeah. Okay, audio for our housekeeping duties here, not our hotel room keeping duties, because certainly those hotel rooms have not been kept unkempt, Brady.
Unkempt, Brady.
Unkempt. Yes, Brady. On audio, find us on anchor.fm/play it by ear podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app, and most anywhere you find your podcast.
I just have a really funny idea for a t-shirt. So we got to get 3 t-shirts made, and Aric our two will say unkempt Jose, and Brady's will say unkept Jose, just slightly different. That would be awesome.
To it.
Or,
Huh?
or we do a this or that. Unkempt or unkept. That's all it says. Unkempt or unkept.
Or unkept.
Yeah.
And here we go again, threatening with that play it by ear wear that we've not come through with yet. On video, YouTube, search Play It By Ear podcast. Follow our channel. Get notified whenever our video episodes come out. Social media, find us on Facebook. Search Play It By Ear podcast. Twitter at Play It By Ear pod 2. Instagram at Play It By Ear podcast with underscores after all the words. Interact with us via email, playitbyearpodcast2020@gmail.com, or leave a voice message.
Or by telekinesis.
Or
telekinesis, excuse me.
I was going to say, are you being moved somewhere by someone else? Click the link at your podcast provider to leave that voice message. Well, gentlemen, pleasure as always. Again, if any dime store psychologists want to do a psychoanalysis on that last topic, please feel free and let us know what your results are, because
the result I have the feeling will be large men in a white van with butterfly nets having to take us away
via a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
As long as they don't show up wearing rhinestone jumpers,
missing a lot of teeth,
which are in a sock.
No socks. Was there a horror movie one time where like the killer kept teeth in a sock or something? It seems that's ringing a bell now. I think there was. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, keep your eyes out for episode 30. That sounds like a special episode of some sort.
It does.
About that. So episode 30 coming up.
Peace.
To the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.